Welcome back to this, already the final segment of The Price of Business here on this Monday morning. Glad to be with you, talking to you about you and your business. And we are going to talk about business. We're going to talk about one of the most difficult challenges people in business have today, which is trying to engage with C-level executives. They are so darn difficult to reach. And the reason why is there's so many distractions out there. I saw an interesting study by a group called in fact, they're great friends of this program. It's an organization out there. His name is Walter Rogers, and he's an expert, in fact, in this whole area of how to get the attention of a potential client who's a C-level client, and his company's called Baker Communications, and he was talking about the sheer volume of distractions business owners have today. On average, they spend 66% of their time out of the office. They spend 35% of their time with internal or external customers. They receive, on a daily basis, 240 phone calls a week. 244 phone calls a week, receive 143 voicemails, receives 288 email messages. And I'm telling you, there's not much time for anything else when you're dealing with those kind of distractions. And all those things that were designed to make it easier to engage with each other in communication, like cell phones and social media and that type of thing, has really only made it more difficult to reach people. And I've got a guest on today, and he's Brian Goodman. He's with Experience Financial. He's a managing director there, and he deals all the time with C-level individuals. Wouldn't you agree with that assessment? Pretty difficult.
Hey, Kevin, yes, I absolutely agree. I think you've hit it spot on. Most executives today are bombarded with information between social media, internal operations, external information, and trying to run a company. So it does make it increasingly difficult to get in front of them.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about your experience. What do you do to get in front of these people?
Yes, absolutely. So my approach is relatively simple. I think it fundamentally starts with doing your homework. I think it's really critical that you understand who the client is, both from a company perspective as well as the individual. With the amount of information that is out there today, you should be able to get this information both on public and private companies and really have a firm understanding of who they are. In addition to that, it's imperative that you understand their business. Using the statistics that you just mentioned with the number of calls and emails and other providers out there that are calling on these executives, if you don't understand their business from day one, you're going to be left out. I think lastly, it's understanding how they purchase services, and that's even going down to the detail of what is their process. The more you know about how they go about that process, the better off you're going to be. And then when you take that homework and fundamental understanding and then really bring value to that executive, and you have to, again, when you understand what his focus is, whether it be a CEO or one of their direct reports, you have to understand what value you need to bring subject matter experts to the table, thought leadership in that area to really differentiate yourself from those that are out there.
Yeah. So, but how do you get that initial engagement? I mean, it's great that you know all this stuff, but how in the world are they going to know all this stuff? They know that you know all this stuff about them if they're not even willing to give you the time of day.
Yeah, so I think the adage of cold calling is somewhat dead in today's world with all of the communication and information out there. I think warm introductions are always the best way to get in front of someone. So as you're doing your homework and understanding who that executive is, you got to find a way to reach out and connect with them through somebody else you know. And so that may be using a service like LinkedIn and trying to identify who they are, understanding what boards or committees they're sitting on within the community, and figuring out who knows that individual, leveraging other service providers that are not competitive to what you're doing, they're more complementary, and finding an angle. And that could be something as simple as having kids that are on the same or similar sports. So there's a lot of different ways to attack an individual and understand, but I think it's just critical to not just wing it. You got to really think through the steps and go out there and figure out what's the best approach.
Okay, so tell me about the in your own experience. First of all, tell us a little more about Experience in your financial division there, and what exactly you guys do, and what are and you in particular in that company.
No, absolutely. So Experience is a relatively new brand that was created in 2011. It is essentially the roll-up of multiple entities that were owned by Manpower Group. Today, it is a multi-billion-dollar global professional services firm, and we really focus on providing project-based solutions and professional resourcing to our clients. But what we really mean is we help our clients get things done. In the variable world and variable cost structure that most companies are sitting in today, they don't have the fixed cost ability to have all the staff and all the resources on hand, and so they have to really go out and outsource and augment their teams with different professionals. And so we have a global organization. We operate in 50 countries, and we focus in key areas within finance, engineering, and information technology. I lead our Western United States division of Experis Finance, and within that group we focus on corporate and tax advisory, regulatory compliance, business systems, financial operations. We'll dive into issues that are relatively simple for clients at times and other times highly complex. There's a wide range. It could be regulatory compliance with everything going on in financial services to business systems and upgrades in technology for ERPs. It could be global initiatives like privacy, something as simple from an SEC perspective as technical accounting and financial reporting. So there's a lot of different aspects of our business that we bring to our clients.
Okay, so first of all, how old? So you're 2 years old, essentially. Your division, your company, though, is much older than that. Experis.
Absolutely. The heart of our business has been around for over 15 years. When Manpower had acquired multiple entities over the years, they decided to put these all together and create one organization that could have a unified brand and a global delivery platform across the three lines of business that we're focusing on to better be out in the marketplace and providing that service to the client.
How many employees does Experis have?
Experis, in North America, we have about 11,000 employees.
Really? So you guys are rather huge. Yeah, that's interesting. And you're in Western states, which entails which states altogether? Obviously, California. What else?
Correct. Now, I'm based in Southern California, and so my region covers everything from Denver to the coast and borders. So we have operations or support clients in Denver, Phoenix, Las Vegas, San Diego, Orange County, Los Angeles, San Jose, San Francisco, Portland, Salt Lake City, and Seattle.
Okay. Who covers Texas? Is that one of your colleagues?
That's one of my peers in our central region.
Yeah. Well, you muscled in on this deal today, didn't you? I'm glad we had you on. I'm going to have to let you go, though, and I love what you're talking about. Be prepared. And, and remember, you only have one opportunity to make a first impression, and so it's very imperative that you are prepared for that, aren't you?
I think, Kevin, you're absolutely right. I think if you're it's difficult to get that opportunity, and so that's why it's so critical to be prepared and go in there with all of the information that you would need to know, because that might be your only opportunity. And you also have to think about, you're going to be dealing with all the other phone calls and emails and other competitors, especially if they know specifically, if they have an initiative or a project in mind, you have to absolutely assume that there's going to be multiple other people in there. You asked a great question earlier about how do you really go about getting in front of these people, especially if you don't know them, and I mentioned some of my approaches. Another thing that I'm really passionate about is making sure that you are leveraging your network and relationships in and outside of business, and by doing that, doing it every day. It's something where it's a pay-it-forward mentality that you help others, others will help you.
Yeah.
By making that a basic premise of your everyday life, you'll find that then when you need help or have a question or need an introduction, well, you've helped a dozen other people over the course of the last year, and so you've got a number of other options to reach out to, and it really opens up the opportunity. And it's amazing when you help somebody and you're not asking for anything in return, and then you contact them later and say, hey, would you mind making an introduction, or I understand that you know. Every time they say, yeah, absolutely, happy to help you.
Brian, I have to wrap it up, but that was a fantastic point to end on. It's the laws of reciprocity. Always think of in terms of reciprocity, and you often have to sow before you reap the benefit. And I think that's fantastic. Great concept. We're going to put you on hold for just a minute because I want to get some information from you. But thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I do want to mention, of course, that you can learn more about Brian and his company at Experis, which is experis.us. That's experis.us. And thanks again. When we come back tomorrow, we'll have much more for you. I do want to remind you, of course, the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com, where you can get video, audio, and much more. See you tomorrow right here on this station.